Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. You may be seated. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister, and a Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Central, our other councillors, caretakers, and political representatives present with us this afternoon, Mrs. Arlene Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and let me welcome as well the MEG-JC team, Mrs. Sharika Hemmings-Allison, Chief Technical Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, representing Permanent Secretary Ambassador Rocky Mead this afternoon, Mr. Linville Freeman, NHT Board Chairman, NHT Board Director, Mrs. Nesta Claire Hunter, Mr. Martin Miller, Managing Director of the NHT and the management and staff of the NHT, Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund and the JCIF team, Mr. Kevin Carr, President of the National Water Commission, our development partners, Ashram Building Systems, Pastor Ralston Tyrrell, pastor of the Penwood Seventh-day Adventist Church, our mortgage partner institutions and other government and project stakeholders, residents of St. Paul's Lane, members of the media, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to you all. Wouldn't this sound much better? A little earlier when I come up and say good afternoon. So let's try that one again. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to you all. Thank you. And welcome to this, the handing over ceremony for this housing development here at St. Paul's Lane in Tower Hill, St. Andrew. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. The pepper light them going up, the traffic for the afternoon shopping starts building up, and the Christmas breeze reach. Anybody else feeling it? Good. And on top of that, another set of Jamaicans will be getting their keys to their own home just in time for Christmas. Now, from the length of the protocols established this afternoon, you can tell that it took quite a few people from within and outside government to get this job done. And let's start right there with a round of applause for all the stakeholders who made this project possible. And this project is an initiative led by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and they brought along some partners to get it done. The HAJ, they provided project management and contract administration services. The National Housing Trust provided financing. Ashram, they did the construction on what I must call some beautiful, well-appointed units that I'm looking at. JCIF ensured that our residents were prepared for home ownership. And NWC, of course, ensured that the water infrastructure was ready because, of course, water is... Oh, you never flop me. Thank you. And another round of applause for all our stakeholders. My name is Dwayne Berwick, and I am truly delighted to be your Master of Ceremonies for this, our handing over ceremony. And having welcomed you all, I believe our first duty of business is to bless today's activities, and most importantly, to bless this project and the new families that will put down their roots here. And for that, I would like to invite Pastor Ralston Tyrrell, pastor of the Penwood Seventh-day Adventist Church, to lead us in the blessing and invocation. Please, let's welcome Pastor Tyrrell.
I invite you to kindly stand. Sovereign Lord, you are God. Your covenant is trustworthy, and you have promised these good things to your children. And now, be pleased to bless the house of your servants, that it may continue forever in your sight. For you, sovereign Lord, have spoken, and with your blessing, the house of your children will be blessed forever. Loving Lord, we rejoice today for all that has brought us together for this grand handing over ceremony. We celebrate what you have done through all the partners, through all the entities brought together. They have labored, they planned, they toiled, and we celebrate a work, a mission accomplished. We pray you will bless all those who today receive for themselves a place to call home. I pray they will dwell with joy and happiness, and today may it serve as an example even to those looking on, that as they partner with their leaders, their dreams will be realized. Bless this ceremony, and with joy in our hearts we go through this experience today. Thank you for blessing us before today, for the blessings today, and the blessings that will be forever with your children, we pray in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much, Pastor Tyrrell. Indeed, the planners of this project, they planned, they labored, and they toiled, as you said, and today some new homeowners will reap the fruits of all that planning and all that hard work. I did mention that quite a few agencies came together to make today possible, and at this time we will hear from a couple of them. Representing the NHT team this afternoon is Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Mr. Linville Freeman. I'll invite Mr. Freeman to the lectern at this time to share his remarks on today's project and the overall thrust of the NHT to create more home ownership opportunities for Jamaicans. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's make it welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, our Cabinet Secretary. I'm not seeing Audrey, but all protocols go to her as well. Mrs. Arnie Williams, Permanent Secretary, Sharika Williams, other public sector partners, members of the board and senior management, colleagues from the National Housing Trust, stakeholders, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we rejoice in it. It is my pleasure to be here this afternoon to celebrate with the residents of St. Paul's Lane in the handing over of these housing units. Today marks a significant milestone in the lives of the beneficiaries. This handover symbolizes the hope of a new chapter filled with opportunity and a brighter future for the families who will reside here. Projects like this one you see here today, require significant collaboration. So we also celebrate today the successful collaboration of multiple agencies, stakeholders, community representatives, and residents. Partnership is the cornerstone of our work at the NHT. We understand the unique challenges in creating affordable housing units for all segments of society. This housing challenge cannot be solved by any one institution. It requires a collective approach. For this reason, we are proud to have partnered with the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, the Housing Agency of Jamaica, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and Astra, who are the contractors for this project. Together, we have the power to create a future where everyone has the opportunity to secure a safe and stable, affordable place called home. And I usually say a home is a big deal. We continue to leverage public-private partnerships through our programs like the Guaranteed Purchase Program and the New Developers Program, which allows us to enhance construction efficiencies and deliver more houses to the market at an even faster pace. And our Honorable Prime Minister, I see a lot of commentaries and social media being posted about the underperformance of the NHT in delivering homes. And my simple response to those who have been asking me about it is that the NHT has a mandate to deliver 43,000 housing solutions. And having already delivered over 11,000 units, I would say today we are well on our way to achieving this mandate. On the financing side, we continue to collaborate with financial agencies through our external finance mortgage program, enabling us to allocate more resources towards the construction of homes at more affordable prices for Jamaicans who need it most, especially as we contend with rising costs of raw materials and labor. Initiatives like our Community Renewal Program have enabled us to support community engagement and empowerment through housing construction and various social programs. It is already clear that St. Paul's Lane has the hallmark of a great community, well-structured units, green spaces, and community areas that will provide well-being and foster connections among residents. This development embodies our collaborative commitment to diversity and sustainability. We are not only creating homes, we are building a community where families can thrive, children can grow, and neighbors can support one another. With that said, I want to acknowledge and commend all those who have worked tirelessly to bring this vision to life. Thank you to the teams from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, the Housing Association of Jamaica, the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, the National Housing Trust, Astrom, among others. Your commitment to this community and your prioritization of inclusive and affordable housing is commendable. The project is a testament of our collective commitment to ensuring that everyone has a place called home. Together, we are not just building houses, we are fostering a community where everyone can grow, thrive, and realize their potential. To the future residents of this community, congratulations. Your new home is the evidence of your dream. A space where memories will be made, a refuge where you can feel secure and supported. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you and do enjoy the remainder of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. Indeed, a home is a big deal. And we're not just building homes, we're building a community of people who live together, work together, and of course, thrive together as well. Thank you very much, sir. Our next speaker represents another partner in housing, and both agencies, we heard from the NHT. Now, both agencies work together to create moments like these all across Jamaica. Let's now welcome to the lectern Mr. Norman Brown, Chairman of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, to deliver his remarks. Please make him welcome as well.
Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Mrs. Arlene Williams, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and other senior members of the ministry, Mr. Linval Freeman, JP, Chairman of the National Housing Trust, Mr. Martin Miller, Managing Director, and other senior managers, Mr. Donald Moore, I have to sing you out, sir. Glad to see you. Mrs. Doreen Prendergast, Managing Director of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, and other senior managers, members of the Board of Directors of the HAJ, Mr. Omar Sweeney, Managing Director and other senior managers of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, Mr. Robert Honeygan, General Manager for the Urban Development Corporation, and the other members of the UDC team, Master of Ceremonies, members of the media, and most importantly, the homeowners of St. Paul's Lane. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being a part of today's handing over ceremony. Several years ago, the lives of many of the residents of St. Paul's Lane were upended when fire destroyed several households, displacing its residents. Today, the Housing Agency of Jamaica is truly thankful that despite this horrendous loss, we are all here today to mark a new beginning. The agency, in keeping with the instructions of our parent ministry, was asked to regularize that section of St. Paul's Lane consisting of 98 informal households with approximately 297 persons affected by the fire. A joint response was pursued with the ministry as owners of the land, the National Housing Trust as the financiers, and the HAJ as project managers. This saw the HAJ overseeing the day-to-day implementation of the project constructed by Astrom Building Systems Limited. A total of 24 units were initially a part of the contract, but the goodwill of the Member of Parliament, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, today, we have, instead of 24, we have 36 housing solutions that are to be handed over to owners today. The construction of the housing units is contemplated with new roadways, proper drainage within the development, and the provision of water, sewage, and electrical infrastructure. With the completion of these works, the assignment of the beneficiaries, it is anticipated that the lives of the residents will not only return to a semblance of normalcy, but will see a significant improvement in their standard of living. Now, Prime Minister, I am best at these podiums when I speak from the heart. And when we came here for the groundbreaking, I could not see your vision, because I was saying to myself, how can such a little place put in so many units? But they said that where the leader has no vision, the people perish. And I am really inspired by your vision. I have asked the team at HAJ, and also I have invited the team from UDC to come and to look at this model of development, because this could be a cornerstone for urban renewal right across the inner cities of Jamaica. And we at HAJ have actually documented every step along the way so that we can use this model to change the lives of people. And I am sure this is now the uptown in Toil, because it is really a fantastic development. In closing, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, I would like to encourage you, the homeowners, to see this as your investment and to make every effort to protect it. Also, I wish you all for this Yuletide season, all the best for this Yuletide season and a prosperous New Year. Let us together continue to build Jamaica, one community at a time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Indeed, from adversity, we can have stories of triumph and an opportunity, of course, for new beginnings. And I'm sure the new homeowners here at Uptown Tower Hill, as we will now call it henceforth, are very grateful for the efforts of everyone who has come together to make this a momentous occasion for them. At this time, coming to us to spread the Yuletide cheer a little bit is a group from the Penwood High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause as they come.
that your baby boy will one day walk on water. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has walked when angels fly? When you kiss your little baby, you kiss the face of God. Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know?
I think you can do a little better than that for Penwood High School, man. Come on. Thank you very much to the... I think one of my team members corrected me earlier and says not a choir, it's a chorale, because they only have 6 members. So a big round of applause again to the Penwood High School chorale. And coming to us at this time is a gentleman who has made housing a focus of his administration, and I dare say has made significant strides in housing policy during his tenure. Mr. Brown spoke earlier to the importance of good vision, and I believe his legacy in this area will be largely defined by the new social housing program, which was launched in 2018. And this initiative aims to provide affordable, high-quality housing to Jamaica's disadvantaged populations. And I'm sure he will share more on that program and more on his housing vision with us this afternoon. Let's welcome Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for St. Andrew West Central, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, to bring our keynote address this afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dwayne. Allow me to adopt the protocols that have been established. Suffice to say, it's good to see everyone here today, and in particular, the beneficiaries. Let me start off with a little bit of history. I came into this constituency in 1997, and one of the first places I visited was this area, Tower Hill. And one of the first places in Tower Hill that I visited was St. Paul's Lane. So that was 27 years ago. Now, when I visited, not all of St. Paul's Lane was occupied. Maybe the area closer to the Gully Bank. But this area where we are was not occupied. And in fact, the entire thing was used as a playing area. But over time, the entire place became occupied. Not formally, informally. We had one intervention, which was to build a multi-purpose court and a small community center just across from here. And we fenced it. But as the years went on, more and more persons decided that this is the place that they could call their home. And indeed, it became very congested. Fast forward to 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, I got a call that there was a fire. And the fire destroyed approximately 8 homes. And I remember coming to survey the damage, and the idea hit me that, it wouldn't be sufficient to just rebuild the homes that were destroyed, because technically they weren't really proper shelter solutions. A sheet of zinc here, a few sheets of ply, some ambitious person putting up a few blocks. Nothing that you could call a proper shelter. So I decided at that time that I would use this disaster, as it was, as a test case for a new program for the government to renew urban spaces. There are many communities like St. Paul's Lane dotted all across Jamaica, and particularly in the corporate area. The St. Paul's Lane community is approximately 4 acres. Some parts of St. Paul's Lane have permanent structures. The part that was destroyed by fire obviously did not. And so what I decided to do was to identify the resources to clear the structures that were destroyed by fire, but to also engage the persons who were living on this 1.5 acre plot, but whose homes were not destroyed by fire, and get them to agree that they would give up the structures that they currently occupy, so that when we are clearing the 8 or so structures that were destroyed, we could clear the entire 1.5 acres. Now, that was a critical part of the strategy for renewal. Because whenever we go to renew communities, especially informally settled communities, it is very difficult to get the persons who are occupying the space to have faith and confidence that if they give up what they are occupying now, they will get it back. So it took some discussions, and they obviously had faith in my word that they would get a better structure. I explained to them what it is that we were doing. We showed them the drawings and the plans, and they agreed. But there was another problem. If they gave up what they had, where would they live? So that's a major problem in any urban renewal program, to decant persons from where they live and to find temporary accommodation. Now let me say this. The persons who gave up their homes and went to live next door in unfinished buildings or in the community center for more than 1.5 years, believe me, they deserve the house that they are getting now. Some of them, they went and occupied a building where there was no roof. Some didn't have proper bathroom facilities. The West Central St. Andrew Trust decided that we would pay rental for about, I don't recall, maybe 8 or 9 of the families who gave up their homes or whose house was destroyed by fire. And the rest found a space with existing family members, or as I said, they occupied really substandard conditions in makeshift shelters until this was built. So those persons really gave their contribution in agreement. They made their contribution in sacrificing what they had for better. The other issue for us, having sorted out the relocation of persons who live there, was how long would it take to construct the unit? Because if you have persons in temporary facilities, and if you have to pay rent for them, and it is inconvenient, you certainly would want to have a building system that could quickly be erected to shorten both the rental time and the inconvenience. And we looked at several building systems, and we found one by Astrom, which seemed to be appropriate for the challenge that we faced. Having sorted out the building system, the next issue was, we are on a tight space. How are we going to deal with sewage and water? We could not put on, the on-site septic tanks and so forth. So we had to get connected to a sewer main. That connection delayed the project for some time. Luckily, we weren't too far away from a sewer connection. So with some ingenious engineering, we managed to go across a gully, connect onto a road, and we are now into the sewage line in 3 miles. Okay, we have solved the sewage issue. Started construction, and I came on a tour. And as I was walking the rest of the community, some residents came to me and they said, Prime Minister, this don't look good, How those persons are getting homes, and look at our homes over here. You hear the lady in the back. That is true. We didn't have the budget for that. And as I walked through the community, and speaking to the residents, I could see that the construction of these new units, though they are happy for it, many of them were also sad that they were not benefiting. And this is a natural feeling. It's just human nature. They are happy for the development, but they are sad that they are not the ones benefiting. And genuinely, communities like these, people are in this condition for many years. They are impatient, frustrated, and fatigued. And so government has to be understanding. And I was understanding of their concerns. So, okay, we started to see whether or not we could assist. The challenge was, where would we find the land for additional units? And some of the persons who were complaining, they had beside them structures that were pretty good structures, permanent structures. So we couldn't take down one house to replace it with 12. So another problem emerged. How do we get persons who are quite comfortable with their structure to give up their structures in order to create the space to accommodate another set of units? It took some time, it took some convincing, and it also took some guarantee that we would pay rent for those persons who gave up their structures until new structures were built. So the West Central St. Andrew Trust decided to work with those residents. We paid their rent, and they gave up their units, and we took down their units, cleared enough space, and in an agreement with the contractor, we were able to construct 12 more units. So in all, we have 36 units. Now, the learning from this is that once there is a demonstration effect, in other words, the moment that we broke ground and we were coming up out of the foundation, the persons who were skeptical, their minds, their outlook immediately changed, and they wanted to be a part of this. And my hope for this development is that this will be a demonstration effect for other projects that we will undertake, where we won't be able to find new lands for greenfield development. We will have to clear the land, put up the units, and return the residents to the units. Once the public sees that this is the policy and it has worked, then we can now move full speed ahead with developing other such communities across Jamaica, in particular within Kingston and St. Andrew. We are not finished with St. Paul's Lane. As you can see, when you go down to the back of the community, you will see a mixture of fairly strong, robust, well-built structures, but then you have other structures that are really below standard. We may not be able to do developments like this because the configuration and the land space just does not exist. But what we will do is continue through the new social housing program, which builds individual houses to very, in a structured way, replace some of the houses that are in dilapidated conditions. We have already identified communities across Jamaica in which we will replicate this model. And so the NHT and the HAJ, and I noticed that JSIF is also here, will be tasked to develop a working model that can be easily deployed to these communities so that we can conduct a proper program of urban renewal. So 36 households will benefit from this development here today on an acre and a half. Very creatively designed units, very innovative in how they have been structured, and it has been done in such a way that there are some amenities. There is a play area, there is a drying and washing area, there is parking, and other amenities. The people who will occupy these homes, I am sure, will find them to be far more comfortable than the homes that they were occupying before. We want to do this for every single inner city community in Jamaica. This is my wish, and this is my vision. And we have proven that it can be done without any issues, any complaints, any conflicts. We have done it. So, as I have said before, we have identified the communities. In the next budget, there will be an allocation for this urban renewal project. The NHT has some allocations that they make for social housing, so that will be incorporated. The HAJ's role is to do the preparatory work, because though it may sound straightforward to do the community organization to get to this point, let me tell you, it is not easy to deal with the individual challenges and problems and complaints of all the households. And I bring you into some of the considerations. I see the personnel from HAJ and so forth smiling. So when you do the social survey, and let's say you identify the family members, by the time you come back, the family split. So when you thought you had 8 households, when you come back, they say, no, it's 16. Because everybody wants to have a house for themselves. All right? What size house are you going to give them? Is it 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms? So you establish that it is 2 or 3 persons in the family. Okay, that's a 2 bedroom. No, when you come back, the family is bigger. 3 bedrooms. All right? You clear the area. You say, okay, it's, 16 families. And you're ready to start. Somebody comes, finds your office, finds your assistant, and they say, I had a house here, and I left and went to country and left somebody in there. And see, they are parading as if they own the house. I am the real owner for the house. So before you can move to construction, you really need an entity that has the social work capacity to sit with the people and make a final resolution. And the HAJ and their team did an amazing job in staying with the people, speaking with them, guiding them, hearing their complaints, so that they didn't feel that this was being shoved down on them. They were a part of the decision making. And then after that, we couldn't just build this in the community and not figure out how we're going to deal with the rest of the community. So we had to do things like putting in the light poles for the entire community to improve electrification. We surveyed the lands. We moved some fences back onto their proper boundaries. And we are going to do a zinc fence removal project. So the next time that you visit, there will be no zinc fences in St. Paul's Lane. We didn't have the funds to pave all the way around to the back of the community, but that will be done in the next budget year. We're going to do everything possible to uplift the infrastructure of the community, because I truly believe that if we uplift the conditions under which people live, the physical conditions, it will elevate their minds as well. So I am hopeful that this physical transformation of the St. Paul's Lane community will also lead to a transformation in the outlook and attitude and behavior of the people who live in St. Paul's Lane. Now, we are not finished with our development plans. Next door is a piece of land that we intend to develop into a golden age home. It's a challenge for communities like Tower Hill. As our seniors get to the point where they are not able to move on their own, many of them are shut in. They are not being properly cared for. Were it not for the kindness of neighbors, many of our elders and shut-in would suffer and perish in silence. We're going to be building a 20-room golden age home that we will be able to take care of the elderly and shut-ins in this community. The next community on my agenda as Member of Parliament is an area just up the road called Lime Tree Lane. Again, another community which sprung up in the 70s and 80s, and persons have built informally. Some of the housing conditions there are below standard, but some persons have built very robust structures. So we are going to take the same approach, where we will meet as a collective with the community and decide which area we will start, who will give up their spot. We will clear it, deploy this building solution, and then return the persons to that spot. There are other communities across Jamaica. I won't name them right now because they are being assessed, and that will start in the next budget year. There are some other projects in terms of housing projects that are within this area. One comes to mind readily in the Penwood housing development, which Member of Parliament Anthony Hilton spoke about in his contribution to the constituency debates. There are some projects that really are not economically feasible because of the price points at which they come out. Recently, there has been some discussions in the market about the NHT's rate of completion and the price point at which the NHT is delivering homes. Let me use this opportunity to say that in 2017, I empaneled a committee for a strategic review of the NHT. That committee delivered its report in 2017. And that report has guided the direction of housing policy. We gave a policy directive to the NHT that they should redirect the majority of their funding to low-income or affordable housing solutions. So the price point that the NHT is focused on is the price point for the persons who work as barbers, hairdressers, mechanics, gardeners, clerical staff, those persons who have been contributing all along but have not been able to secure a mortgage or a home because the market itself is just simply not producing homes at a price that they can afford. So we are redirecting, or we have redirected the NHT to deal with that market failure. And what has happened in the last 4 years is that the NHT has been concentrating its efforts on developing housing for affordable and low-income solutions. Those housing starts will come to maturity in the next year or so. Well, they will come to maturity, many of them, in 2025, 2026, and 2027. We must bear in mind that between 2019 and 2022, our housing starts and housing completion was affected by the COVID pandemic. So you're going to see a significant influx of new housing for low-income and affordable housing solutions in the next 2 to 3 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a proud moment for me personally. I'm very happy to be able to hand over these homes to the deserving beneficiaries of St. Paul's Lane. You lost your homes. You lost your homes in a fire. You lived in substandard conditions for many years. You saw the vision, and some of you gave up the structures that you have had to live in sometimes even worse condition, knowing and keeping hope that you will get a better house. Today, just in time for Christmas, you will have your dream fulfilled of a better home. God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister Holness. Ladies and gentlemen, context is important, and we thank you very much, Prime Minister, for that context. Because now we have a better appreciation of the problem that existed before. We have a better appreciation of the challenges of housing in certain spaces. And more so, we have an appreciation of the stories of the homeowners today, that they are not just another person walking up here to collect their keys in a little while, but they are individuals with a story of difficulty, and right now they're basking in a moment that they have dreamed, anticipated, and waited for. Thanks again very much, Prime Minister Holness, for your presentation. And now we're down to the main event, the handover of the keys to our new homeowners here at St. Paul's Lane in Tower Hill, St. Andrew. You ready, guys? Sounds ready to me. And to our new homeowners, congratulations again, and may you continue to secure and improve upon this investment, not just for yourselves, but also for your families and for generations to come. Let me invite at this time back to the stage Prime Minister Holness to lead the handover of the keys to our new homeowners. And just some instructions. I'll ask that you walk up the center aisle to collect your keys, and you can exit behind me on the left. Ready? We're not ready. Ready? And we'll begin the handover with Osman Findley. Barbara Anderson. Dion Lewis. Delroy Aiken. Let's keep that applause going as well for Leon McPherson. We have a key as well for Rosemary Salmon Cohen. Not here? All right, we'll move along. Let's make welcome Stephanie Diaz. Janet Morgan. Paulette Coleman. And we round out this batch of beneficiaries with Simone Thompson. Thank you, Prime Minister. And let's make welcome Mrs. Arlene Williams to assist with the next set of handover of keys to our new homeowners. Mrs. Williams is, of course, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, where this idea stemmed. PM, by popular demand, I hear you're being invited back on stage to assist with the handovers. And let's make welcome Patricia Clark. Patricia, how you did so far? Let's make welcome as well Misha Dean. I resist the urge to comment on your hair, Misha. Nerisha Francis. Elizabeth Grant. Peter Diaz. And let's make welcome as well Anne-Marie Banner. Thank you, PS. Mr. Brown, we'd love to have you on stage to assist with the next set of keys. And they're all requested that you stay on stage, Prime Minister Holness. And let's make welcome Aika McTavish. No, man, you can wave, man. It's your moment. Elcardo Goldburn. Elcardo Goldburn? No? Let's make welcome Felicia Joseph. And Robert Drummond. And Chairman Freeman, could you join us to do the last batch of handing overs? Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. And we'll begin this last batch with Leroy Saunders. I have a Jonathan Ward. You hear, Jonathan? Big up yourself. Keisha Ellis. And last but by no means least, a round of applause for Dorothy Scott. Definitely crowd favorite this afternoon. Thank you very much, Mr. Freeman. Thank you very much, Mr. Holness. And one more big applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all our new homeowners this afternoon. And you can tell by the excitement that this is a big moment. It means a lot. We heard the context provided by Prime Minister Holness earlier. But to provide a first-hand perspective on the significance of this project, I would like to introduce Mr. Andre, give me a second, let me find the last name. Mr. Andre Koch to do the vote of thanks. Please make him welcome.
Could everyone please quiet down, please? A pleasant good evening to everyone here. My name is Andre Koch, and I am a fellow member of the St. Paul Lane community. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to you, our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness. Thank you for your steadfast devotion to our country and especially to our community. We are immensely grateful for your ongoing work in building our infrastructure, as well as your ongoing devotion to spreading love, wisdom, and progress throughout our society. Your guidance and leadership have been a true beacon of hope, and it brought forth many positive changes. Your unwavering service to our well-being did not go unnoticed. On behalf of the St. Paul Lane community, we just want to say thank you for your tireless commitment and dedication to our nation. We are truly blessed to have you as our leader. Thank you. But before I exit the stage, I would like to invite Rihanna Henry to come join us up here. And I would like to also invite our Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, to the stage, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Koch. And we have one more presentation. Him just coming from work, Mr. Goldburn. But we're not going to make you miss your moment. So you can come on up and collect your keys. Ladies and gentlemen, in the corridor, Goldburn. Thank you very much, Mr. Holness. And just a few more activities left, ladies and gentlemen. First, we'll have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and we'll have a tour of the model unit. And we'll have a team participating in that, led by Prime Minister Holness.